Oh, good morning. Hi, good afternoon or evening if that's when you're listening. Yeah, it's 11:44, which comes out to a 1 when you break it down numerologically, but it has two double numbers in it, so that works for me. I love master numbers, and I consider any pairs of numbers to be master numbers. And also, of course, numerologically, when you add them up and reduce it to a single digit, then you get a number, and 11 doesn't break down. 11 is not 2, it's 11. Anyway, uh, the title for today's video is Beware of Masters at Infiltration. One of my readers commented in an email regarding my last video, "Yes, they are masters at infiltration. What a great video you put out today." I'm sure she was referring to those who have great ambition to be in charge, not merely of their own selves, but of others. She was talking about those who relish hierarchy and want to have titles that assumedly give them power that others do not have. She was talking about those who divide the people of the world into various classes, like the caste system in India and the economic system in the West. She was talking about those who are proponents of the old paradigm system of domination, with a vision of an old world order on steroids, which they falsely call the New World Order. Yes, people like this have become masters at infiltration, and it behooves all of us who want a world that works for everyone, a world where universal law is the law of every land, a world of equals where no one can lord it over others. It behooves us to be on guard and not only recognize these tendencies in others, but in ourselves as well. Indeed, as I look back on the history of the United States of America, as founded by our Masonic forefathers, was a great vision, a vision of a republic in which the rights of people were guaranteed by the government through the Constitution that was not there to give people rights, but it was to restrict the government from infringing upon the rights of the people of the land, on the land. So what they did is they infiltrated it with a new system of admiralty law, where they, because the water broke, and that's how we're all born. We're born at sea in the womb of a woman, and we become chattel, property, because of our birth. And if you study how some of these words have been used and abused in the English language, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And if you don't understand, do the research. I'm not going to go into a great detail about it. But in any case, they stole our rights by putting us on the sea, even though we live on the land. In the United States, the law of the land still is the Constitution, the original Constitution for the United States of America. It still is. Always has been. They never changed that. They just superimposed their system over the top of it and then convinced us over time that they were the same system. They aren't. They're two different things. But this infiltration that they did, they began doing it. Even Alexander Hamilton was trying to infiltrate the original forefathers. He was representing the Bank of England. He wasn't representing the people of the United States. And others that were part of the Continental Congress were infiltrated, were infiltrators from Europe, basically working for the crown, working for the papacy. The Jesuits were active back then just as they are now. This thing is not new, folks. Infiltration is something that these people do, but what are they showing us? What are they showing us? They're showing us the insidious nature of an ego that sees itself as separate and not interconnected with all of life. They're showing us the psychopathy and the sociopathy that are the result of that thinking, that mindset. And folks, that mindset is in all of us. It's in me, it's in you, it's in everybody that you meet or could possibly ever meet. There's no one that has been born on this planet with DNA that connects us to everything that went before and everything that's in front of us. Ironically, it's no time, which means it's all time. uh, but this is an interconnected web of life. And yet, the insanity is that we somehow don't believe what is an obvious truth. It was an obvious truth to our forefathers that all men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. It was originally. Pursuit of happiness is how it was changed. In any case, it was infiltrated. This beautiful plan to create a governance that served the people and to create a monetary system that served the people was infiltrated from the very onset. And over time, the infiltrators gained the upper hand. That's the world we live in, and it has spread around the globe. It started, of course, who knows where it started? I don't know. It started further back than I was going to go. I was thinking Europe, but it's pre-European history. Probably started in the Middle East somewhere, but who knows? I don't know. It doesn't matter, does it? We're here now. We're here now. And we have a lot of visionaries that really want to make a world that works for everybody. I'm among them. And it's really important for all of you as visionaries to communicate with each other, to talk about what's going on, to talk about new people that show up and what's their message and what's their game, and to observe, are they introducing something that's new, or are they introducing something that's old and just has a facelift? I mean, it really takes discernment. And individually, none of us have the complete discernment. But collectively, we can discern when someone is motivated by an ego that's not quite in balance yet. It's not quite in harmony yet. And you can tell that by people that relish ambition, people that want to divide and separate and create hierarchies of control where there is greater than and lesser than instead of equality. Equality is what the OPPT brought us back to. It brought us back to prime creation or prime creator. It brought us back to the very beginning, before there were any laws of man, the truths that were self-evident, that we were not born to be slaves, even though some of our gods messed with our DNA by turning off some of the codons and created a race of slaves to serve them. Call them archons, whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. But any system, any religion, any movement that tries to divide people into greater or lesser, first-class citizens or second-class citizens or whatever, however many levels you want to make it, any of those people that are trying to introduce that thing, wherever they're trying to introduce it, are putting poison in the plan. They are masters at infiltration and very subtle sometimes, especially when people are beginning to wake up and the subtleties are not as easy to notice, which is why it may take a group of people looking at it each from a different angle, their own perspective, to recognize the dynamic that's taking place as the separation conscious ego is trying to infiltrate and create the disharmony and the imbalance that we as humans have known all of our lives and in many generations, generation after generation, for literal millennia. We're looking at this. We're on the threshold of truly creating a new world order. I mean, a real new world order. Not one of domination, not one of slavery, but one of equality, one of compassion, one of real justice, one of universal law. What is universal law? It's the common law that says if there is no victim, there's no crime. It says that an organization that's created by man cannot be superior to man. That includes all of our governments. That includes all of the corporations. That's what the OPPT gave us. Now, was the OPPT infiltrated? Probably so. Has Swiss Indo been infiltrated? Probably so. Are there people working on both sides or want to appear to be on one side but are really on the other side? Some of them may be actual plants. May be actual plants that were put in place by somebody else and they're actually shills working for someone else. Karen Hudes is very right when she says that the Jesuits have infiltrated the World Bank. Well, truthfully, the World Bank was probably created by the Jesuits. They are the World Bank. And the whole Bar Association is a Jesuit instrument. It all goes back to that. It all goes back to the Vatican and to canon law. And when anybody that's trying to impose canon law or religious law of hierarchy over the people, that's the old system that we've always known, and we need to recognize that. We need to know that that's the truth. And we need to recognize the danger inherent in not becoming totally aware and awake and taking a stand for the equality of everyone, which is why I said my game is not competition. Let everyone win. We are equals. Even those that play dark are not lower than those that play on the light side, so to speak. Because any polarization is a separation technique. Any of it, all of it is a separation technique that divides us from ourselves, within ourselves, which makes us psychopathic and sociopathic and egocentric. And we all have that tendency. It's not just them, it's us. And when we recognize this, when we recognize it in ourselves, we can start to recognize it in others. Or sometimes it's the reverse. Sometimes we'll recognize it in others and not readily see it, that it's part of us too. That they're greedy, we say, and we don't see our own greed. Or they are this. In other words, what Jesus said, take the beam out of your own eye so that you can see what's in the other person's eye, so you can see clearly. But we don't do that because we've been programmed. We've been brainwashed. We've been manipulated. And we've done it to ourselves and we've done it to each other. And that's the culture that we have called humanity, or the human culture. And we are all masters at infiltrating our own lives to our own detriment. We've all done it. Do you understand? We've all done it. And it's not about throwing rocks at them. It's about bringing them into ourselves and recognizing that which they are mirroring back to us, that which they are showing us about our own nature, so that we can then have a free choice. Once we see the problem, the solution becomes apparent. What is the solution to the illusion of separation? It's recognizing the interconnectedness of all life. It's embracing the paradox. It's moving from any system or mindset of exclusion to one of inclusion. These are the signposts, if you will, so that you can gauge yourself where you are. And about gauging yourself, it's not about putting yourself in judgment. We all have our own inner cop, the own inner policeman. That's what society has done for us. It internalizes the external control system, or the external control system flows out of the internal deception. Do you understand what I'm saying? We are at a place right now where many people are beginning to see more clearly. As I've said in so many videos, I don't have all the answers. Nobody that I know has all the answers, but collectively, all the answers are within us. And in a sense, each of us do have all the answers, but we're not always aware of them, and they are not always readily available to us at the conscious mind level. So we're gradually making, actually rapidly making the unconscious conscious, as Carl Jung said. That's the job of those who want to be whole, of those who want to be healthy, of those that want to be truly empowered and truly enriched. The goal is to make the unconscious, or that which is unknown to us, and bring it up into the consciousness where we can make an educated and informed decision. Not one that avoids and denies and tries to run away from anything. Not one that is constantly invalidating itself and invalidating everyone around it by projecting the invalidated part of ourselves onto them, whoever they may be. No, it's about recognizing wholeness. It's about coming to completion. This cycle of evolution has reached the potential of being at its very end. And who knows what we're going to create after that? Who knows how many worlds we will explore and discover? Who knows what kind of societies we will be able to create based on cooperation instead of the competition and the sickness? But we have to recognize the master of infiltration is always our own ego. The masters of infiltration are those that are stuck in their egos and do not see the interconnectedness. And as I said, they do not see equality. They see inequality. They do not see the requirement of being accountable for yourselves. They try to make other people accountable and less than, because that makes them feel superior. This is all psychological tricks of our own ego to keep us in bondage to a slavery system that's not just economics, it's psychological, it's spiritual, and it's real until we make it no longer real. And the way to make it no longer real is to move from the illusion of separation into the reality of unity and interconnectedness of all life. And we're doing that. And in so doing, we are going to create the world that works for everybody. We are going to bring all of these systems that people have envisioned, whether it's the Venus Project or the OPPT or the Swiss Indo or the New World. What do you call it? Sasha Stone's New World Project, New Earth Project, I guess it is, or Ubuntu, or the Quiche Foundation visions, or any of these beautiful things. They've all probably been infiltrated. They all have human elements and maybe spiritual elements at work from the old system, from the old paradigm. Because we're here to heal the old paradigm. We're here to reorder it and repurpose it. We're here to repurpose ourselves and our very lives and all of the structures of our world so that we can live in harmony with one another and so that we can come back to truth and compassion and real love. Isn't that wonderful to think that? And who was it? Jacques Fresco, who was the guy of the Venus Project. He was asked one time, you know, how long will it take? It'll take a really long time for your vision to come into reality. He says, no, it'll take 90 days. Just 90 days. All we have to do is use the media to its full capacity and tell people the truth. And the truth will set people free. Thank you for listening to another one of my ramblings and videos. I really appreciate each of you. I know I can't communicate with each of you. I wouldn't have the time. But I appreciate each one of you that is taking the steps necessary to become more complete, more whole, more balanced within your own being. I really appreciate every one of you that's choosing to grow up and to step out and to stand tall for truth and for everyone's rights, because we're all in this together. I thought of something else, but it went through my mind, so I guess that's for another video. Oh, I know what it was. Tomorrow I'm going to be having a conversation with a lady from England, Katie West, and she's going to be introducing a topic of unconditional love. And so that's going to be our topic for tomorrow if everything goes the way we've planned up to this point. So again, thank you for listening, and namaste and Lakesh. Bye-bye.